There are 17 million Google results telling you what men want, and almost all of them are wrong. Not because they're lying, but because they're stuck at the surface. Most women assume the woman a man cannot forget is the most beautiful one he has ever seen. But here's what nobody tells you. Beauty can make him look. It cannot make him stay. It can create attention without creating trust. And trust, real, embodied, unfakeable trust, is the thing he's actually starving for. There are 7 things that create that trust. 7 things that make a man feel something deeper than attraction. And none of them have anything to do with being the prettiest woman in the room. Number 1, you have a full life. You don't need him, you choose him. Imagine 2 women. The first cancels her Wednesday evening plans the moment he texts. Her hobbies pause, her friendships slowly thin out, and her world quietly reorganizes itself around his availability. She may not even notice it happening. The second woman has a pottery class every Wednesday. She has been going for months. When he texts at the last minute, she says, "I'd love to, but I've got my class tonight. How about Thursday?" Both women are interested, but the energy feels completely different. Men can feel the difference between a woman who wants them and a woman who needs them. Being wanted feels meaningful. Being needed can begin to feel like responsibility. When your entire life starts depending on his attention, he no longer feels like someone you freely chose. He begins to feel responsible for keeping your world together. A connection that requires you to become smaller is already breaking. The woman men cannot stop thinking about is never the woman who stopped thinking about herself. Number 2, you create emotional safety. He tells you something he is not proud of. Maybe he lost his job. Maybe he cried last week and has not told anyone. As he speaks, he watches your face closely. He is bracing for the subtle flicker of disappointment. But you do not flinch. You do not immediately try to fix him, and you do not turn the moment into a 45-minute emotional processing session. You simply say, "That sounds really hard. I'm glad you told me." It may seem like a small response, but that is often where real trust begins. Most women underestimate how much men crave emotional safety, not through constant reassurance, but through something quieter. He needs to know that you will not use his vulnerability as ammunition during your next argument. He needs to feel that he can be imperfect without immediately losing your respect. But emotional safety does not mean accepting disrespect, excusing harmful behavior, or protecting him from consequences. You can understand what he feels and still hold him accountable for what he does. Attraction may begin anywhere. Attachment grows where a person can stop performing and finally feel seen. Number 3, you're playful. You don't take yourself too seriously. You trip on the curb during a date. Instead of freezing, becoming embarrassed, or apologizing repeatedly, you laugh and say, "Well, that was graceful." Then you keep walking. That moment tells him something. You are comfortable enough in your own skin not to treat every imperfect moment like a crisis. Playfulness creates a bubble that only the 2 of you share. It creates inside jokes, private references, and a language that belongs to the relationship. And that private world can become more intoxicating than any physical feature. When every awkward moment turns into a problem that needs to be discussed, analyzed, or solved, connection begins to feel like pressure. Playfulness allows 2 people to relax around each other. It does not mean avoiding serious conversations. It means knowing that not every moment needs to become serious. Sometimes the most attractive thing you can do is simply laugh, recover, and keep moving. Number 4, how you treat people who can do nothing for you. You are at dinner, and the waiter brings the wrong order. Twice. Your date is watching. Maybe not consciously, but some part of him is paying attention to who you become when something inconveniences you. You smile and say, "No worries, whenever you get a chance." Then you turn back to the conversation without making the entire evening about what went wrong. That short interaction reveals something polished conversations often cannot: how you handle frustration when there is nothing to gain from being kind. Charm is easy when you want to be liked. Kindness matters most when there is no reward for it. How you treat people with less power in a situation often reveals how you relate to power, inconvenience, and control. This is not about never being annoyed or refusing to speak up when something is wrong. It is about whether frustration turns you cruel. Integrity is rare, and men notice rare. Number 5 is the one most women get wrong without even realizing it. You have opinions, and you're not afraid to disagree. He says something you disagree with. It is not offensive. It is not a major argument. You simply think he is wrong. You could smile, nod, and let the moment pass. Most women would. Instead, you tilt your head and say, "I actually see that differently. Can I tell you why?" You are not aggressive, and you are not trying to defeat him. You are simply present, fully there, not editing yourself to remain agreeable. A woman who agrees with everything may feel easy to be around, but a woman who challenges him with intelligence and respect is far more interesting. There is a difference between being difficult and having a mind of your own. Difficult means creating conflict for attention. Having opinions means knowing what you believe without needing everyone else to validate it. Being noticed is not the same as being known. If you constantly soften, hide, or change your perspective to keep a man comfortable, he may like the version of you that you created for him, but he still will not know you. He should leave a conversation with you feeling understood, but also slightly expanded. Number 6, the way you handle his absence. His texts go from daily to sparse. The old version of you would have panicked. You might have sent the follow-up message, replayed every recent conversation, or invented explanations for his behavior. Maybe you would have performed indifference while internally spiraling. But this time, you notice the shift without immediately chasing it. You send one clear message. "You seem distant. Is something going on?" And then you let the silence be his to fill. There is a concept in psychology called differentiation. It is the ability to remain connected to yourself while staying emotionally connected to another person. Most people lose themselves the moment the other person's energy changes. You do not. You return to your own rhythm, your Wednesday class, your friendships, your work, your life. That does not mean pretending you do not care. It means refusing to abandon yourself just because someone else has become uncertain. That tiny space between his distance and your reaction is where your power lives. Do not panic. Observe. Do not chase. Ask clearly once. Then return to yourself and let his behavior give you the answer. Number 7, you know your worth and you don't negotiate it. He says, "I'm just not sure what I want right now." Instead of auditioning for the role, you do not start proving that you are patient, relaxed, understanding, and completely free of needs. You nod and say, "I understand. Take the time you need, but I'm not going to wait around while you decide whether you want me." And you mean it. Knowing your worth does not mean believing you are better than everyone else. It means having standards that do not disappear the moment you become emotionally attached. It means you would rather be alone than stay with someone who consistently makes you feel alone. You do not need to prove that you can survive on crumbs. Your self-worth cannot force the wrong man to value you, but it determines how long you stay in a situation where you are not being valued. And men often take your standards as seriously as you take them yourself. If you repeatedly accept inconsistency, excuses, and emotional half-effort, you teach him that access to you does not require much from him. The right man will not require you to betray yourself in order to be chosen. The relationship itself should be the prize, not his attention, and not your ability to convince him that you are worth loving. So no, the goal is not to become unforgettable to every man. That is a trap. It is simply another performance. The goal is to become so rooted in yourself that the right man cannot look away, and the wrong man cannot make you disappear. Because the woman men find irresistible is never the one constantly calculating what will make him choose her. She is the woman who has a life of her own, the woman who creates safety without abandoning her standards, the woman who can laugh, disagree, stay grounded, and walk away when staying would cost her too much. And that is not a strategy. That is freedom. If one of these 7 qualities felt especially personal, tell me which one in the comments. And share this with someone who needs the reminder. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next video.